Well, that's one way to start a show. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Check Swing Podcast with myself and, of course, the brains and brawn of the show. Coach Santa is in the building all the way from Baltimore, having big fun. Welcome back. It is live. We are live. It is April the 16th, 2025. We are moving right along. It felt like January was taking forever, and then everything just started flying after that. Like we went through February and March like that. I don't know how you feel, but that's how it felt to me.
Agreed.
Oh my goodness.
I'm glad it's finally leveling off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We got a lot to get into today. We appreciate y'all for hanging with us. And we're gonna have some fun as usual today. And but first I gotta ask my folks how they been. I like to ask my people how they been, make sure they good. So people, that you being you, Miguel, how you been?
Been well, sir. Been well, sir. Looking forward to the spring so my arthritis can finally subside.
Yeah, that arthritis ain't no joke. That tendonitis ain't no joke. That feeling, that pain, that swelling, that man, listen. I'm happy for you. I am glad that the summer is coming and you will not have to deal with that because no, don't want to deal with it. Excuse me, but we're back. We got a lot to talk about today. Got to talk about the Phillies. We got to bring up the Phillies. All right. We got to bring up the Phillies right now because the Phillies. I want you to say it, Miguel, because you said it in the notes. You said it in the pre-show meeting. So I want you to. What are the Phillies doing?
Your Philadelphia Phillies are Phillying.
The Phillies are Phillying. I couldn't have said it better myself. Even right now, like I look at the game and they're down right now, and they shouldn't be down to this team. I mean, the Giants are okay; they're an okay team, but if we think about where we were about a week ago, it was about a week ago. A lot of people are like, "Are you riding with this team? Are you are you with the Phillies early because they beat the Dodgers 2 out of 3? They look great and blah blah blah." And everybody was I shouldn't say everybody, but people wanted to push that the Phillies are where they need to be. And it felt at the time. They did that. I was happy that they did it. I enjoyed that how they did it. It's about how they did it. But we wanted to see more of it. Miguel, go ahead.
I just want to deliver this line, okay? Aaron Nola has pitched 4 innings tonight, 6 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, 2 walks, 7 Ks. He always gets his strikeouts. However, he's a number 3, number 4 starter on a championship team, maybe even a number 5. Every year, I'm on my soapbox trying to trade this guy. Every single year, we had the opportunity to trade him a few years ago, but it's like I know he's homegrown, and I know Eagles do this too sometimes where they hold on to a player because they are homegrown. But it's like,
yeah, I mean, I tell you what. A couple years ago, I wasn't on that boat with you, but I am right now, and the reason I am right now is because of the other arms, how the other arms are. Christian Sanchez, excuse me, Christopher Sanchez, Ranger. We gotta see what Ranger looks like.
Luzardo.
Of course, Zach Wheeler, and then Luzardo is looking good. So it's like I'm thinking about it now. Like, what can we do? They always say that Aaron Nola does not do well in the colder months. Well, I was just thinking, how about we how about we find somebody that does well in all the months? Yeah, you're way ahead of me, buddy. You're way ahead of me. We don't want people looking elsewhere. We want them looking at us.
That's
It just
Whoops.
it just happened here in Philadelphia. So it happened in Baltimore about 30 seconds ago. It just happened here in Philadelphia. So. Awesome. If you don't know what we're talking about there's a baseball game on TV that we were both watching, and there's some exciting things that happen. But the Phillies are Phillying, and I mean, where were you on this team, Miguel, coming into the season? Where are you right now on this team coming into the season, knowing we're just 3 weeks into the season? 2-3 weeks in?
Baseball's probably the most difficult to follow because baseball has so many ebbs and flows. It's the longest of all the seasons. I mean, 162 games. I mean, you can literally go on a 10-game losing streak and still be in contention by August. You know what I mean? So that's why it's so hard in the beginning. But I think from what I'm seeing from Wheeler and Sanchez and Luzardo, I feel good about it going into a postseason per se. But again, we got to see Luzardo's durability. We got to see if Christopher Sanchez is the real deal because this is his third year, so the sophomore slump is gone. And, there's still some what ifs. You know what I mean? And like I said, there's more pressure on the big names, the Schwarbers, the Castellanos, the Harpers, to produce this year because I think this is what Castellanos' last year. I think Schwarber's looking for an extension. Bohm is starting to get. He's starting to concern me from the standpoint of. I mean, he's batting 171 right now. A lot of his at bats are poor, and he got benched again for attitude and stuff like that. And it's like, this is you're going into your third or fourth season. It's like, all right, something's got to give. You know what I mean? And you know me, I'm always thinking of a trade. So if we can do a little bit of a Nola and Bohm to get a better defensive third baseman, then why the hell not?
Yeah, if anybody wants that problem. somebody might want that problem. Who knows? We don't need that problem. We already had that problem. We don't you trying to get rid of the problem for us. Hit us up if you have an opinion on the Phillies right now. 669-275-0548. That's the number to call. The Phillies are frustrating to me. Miguel. They're frustrating to me. And they're probably frustrating to a lot of the fans. Yeah, I gotta take off my glasses and whatnot. They're frustrating to me because they're a team that has shown you they can win in two different ways. They've shown it. Mm-hmm. And we know as coaches, we know that there are plenty of ways to lose. But it seems like the Phillies are losing, to me, in one way and one way only. They're losing at the plate. They're losing at the plate, trying to hit with runners in scoring position, runners on base. They're not hitting the ball, not getting timely hits. Now, contradictory to what I'm saying right now, I know what just happened a few minutes ago, but we're talking on average this season. Okay. That St. Louis series should not have gone the way it went. The Atlanta series could have had a better turnout than that. Not hitting the ball, I can't blame it on pitching. I just can't. I know the bullpen needs to be stronger. We got to, got to have a little. I got to shore up the bullpen a little bit, probably more on the back end. But at the plate, man, they're a frustrating team because you have those bets. You have such a high payroll. And you know me, I don't really like to talk about people's pockets. But you have high expectations and you're getting nothing out of out of some players that have a high expectation, and he's been getting nothing out of them for some time. But yet it feels like maybe the organization, maybe it's top, or I don't know, wants to save people's feelings or something. And, I know you want to stick with people. I know as a coach, sometimes you got to stick with people and let them, see the problem through. Bohm, you got to stick with. He went. Maybe he wants to stick with him, see the problem through. Trey Turner. Personally, we have a center field. We have a center field, left field problem, right? We have an outfield problem. And I know you said no. I know you said no, but I feel like you should move Trey Turner to the outfield.
No, I said yeah, we should move him to the outfield, but that was so I said we should move him to the outfield, call up the shortstop that I really liked, but then we wanted to trade that shortstop to Florida to get Luzardo,
Mm,
which I
okay.
was still kind of iffy about, but based on the first three starts from Luzardo, we're winning that trade so far. Yeah,
I feel like I feel like even though they say he's not an everyday starting an everyday starter, Edmundo Sosa being as
yes,
hot as he started
yes.
should be playing somewhere every day. Um, Outside of one play, which wasn't his play in the outfield, that one day he played left field,
Mhm,
he played well. He played
mhm,
great. He can play short. He can play third. He can play second. He can play. Damn, I guess damn near everywhere on the field. Really. I mean, he probably could go behind the plate if you need him to. But my thing is, he needs to be in the lineup producing because that's what he's been doing. Allow him to continue to produce. Um, and we gotta move some people around. We gotta move some people around. And I'm starting to see things your way a little more, Coach Santa,
oh,
about moving pieces, and trading pieces, and who I'd be willing to move, and this, that, and the third. Um, for me, damn near anybody's on the table except for one Bryce Harper, except for right now. But I'd still take a phone call about it, Nick Castellanos, because he's playing very well right now. But I'd still take some. I'd take some phone calls because you might be able to get something nice for him. But
mhm.
outside of that, I'm probably on the phone for everybody. Probably for everybody. Maybe not Christopher Sanchez. I think I like what I see with Christopher Sanchez. So Bryce Harper, Christopher Sanchez, but everybody else, I'm picking up the phone, hearing what you got to talk about. But it has to be something that keeps me contending.
Right.
It's got to keep me
And,
contending.
and I think the thing just to the hardest thing is dealing with players because when you talk about changing positions stuff like that, Sosa's going to play wherever you want to wherever you want to play him. But then I think what it came down with Turner is that Turner really believes he's a shortstop, and I see some improvements because I know the infield coach Dickerson, I believe is his name. He's been working really hard with the whole left side of the defense, working with Bone and stuff like that. And I see subtle differences, like the way they're attacking the baseball, the way they're maneuvering themselves. Um, when the ball is to the left or to the right, which has been their Achilles heel, is when they're moving to the sides, and that's where the source of the errors are coming from. But what do you do if a player is not willing, to move? Like the situation in New York with Marcus Stroman. He's pretty much had like bad start after bad start in New York, and he keeps cutting everybody up. He says, "I'm a starter," and then I think one of the reporters was like, "Well, you don't think you're suitable for the boy," and he's like, "I want a starter." And I'm like, "Bro, 6 runs last game, 8 runs the game before that. It's like something's got to give for you to stay in the rotation." And I think the Yankees are going with like a 6-man rotation right now. I don't know if that's to
All right.
appease Strowman or to stretch things out. I don't know, but yeah, I think it's time. It might be time to start thinking of moving. And Turner started out as an outfielder. He
Who's the
started out.
outfield?
He started out as an outfielder when he was with the Nationals, and then I believe he was drafted as an infielder, but he also was an outfielder because of his speed. But they put him in center field. When they won the World Series, I believe he played short, but he did have. That's when they were transitioning him out of the outfield, going over to shortstop.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, I don't know. When I watch this team, and I know it's baseball, and I understand the ebbs and flow of the season in baseball. I get it, but you want to see your team that is built to compete look better, that can look better than they've been looking. You don't want to see the same things happening over and over again that have just been that have just been happening the last few years. And what do I mean? What am I talking about? The weak at bats. The weak trying to hit the home run and you don't hit anything else.
But that game, like you said, the game against the Dodgers, right? The series against the Dodgers. I can't remember if it was the second or third game, but I think the 7, 8, and 9 hitters they walked like I think a total of like 7, 8 times in that game. They were taking pitches, they were turning the lineup over, they were generating runs. I think they were down like 4-0, came back to win. It's like that's it right there. That's the formula. But then I don't know what happens. Whether like you said, it's either I don't know if it's day game after night game. Maybe they don't do good after like third Thursdays. I don't know. But even as a coach, you and I have seen this. Like, well, when we won the championship, over at MSI, and then all of a sudden we couldn't hit for like 3 weekends. We lost like 7 in a row, and I think it's just the mentality. Once you win, it's like, okay, well, maybe it'll get easier, or it's just going to come to me, or whatever the case.
Coach Hunter, why do you think the Yankees being in the first place is fool's gold? They're the defending American League champions. They should be in first place. You just don't feel like they played well enough, and they just happen to be winning games. Let us know. Give us some detail on it. Let's move on. Last night was the last night. Yeah, last night Major League Baseball celebrated Jackie Robinson, as they do every April 15th during every season, or yeah, every season. April 15th is Jackie Robinson night. Um, and the entire league wears the number 42 jersey, and the night is dedicated to Jackie Robinson, who, if you don't know, I hope you do, but if you don't know, Jackie Robinson is the player that broke the color barrier um, when he was signed and played for the Brooklyn Dodgers. What year was that, Miguel? 19.
Technically 45, and the Yankees signed with the Montreal Royals, which was their minor league affiliate.
And I always tell the story of I had the opportunity to play at Jackie Robinson Stadium in Daytona, Florida, which is where the actual stadium itself was the stadium that was denying Jackie Robinson access to play. It was a minor league game when he was with Montreal. They were there to play a game, and they were denying him access to the stadium because, of course, he was a black man. Um, so it was an honor for me to actually get to play in that stadium that is dedicated or named after him. Um, And to answer the question, Coach Ryan Hunter said our pitching rotation is trash. We can hit, but we will hit that All-Star game slump. Maybe the Phillies are doing a backwards last year
Maybe.
because that All Star game is where it went all wrong for them after the All Star game last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, last night they honored Jackie Robinson as they do every April 15th on Jackie Robinson night. Uh, all players wear the number 42. And the number 42 has actually been retired throughout Major League Baseball. So there will not be another player wearing the number 42 in Major League Baseball ever again. Some of the last players to wear the number 42, Mariano Rivera, Mo Vaughn, some of those people. Just a couple names. I think they were grandfathered in. That's why I mentioned though they were grandfathered in because they were already wearing the number 42. So after MLB said nobody can wear that number, they said you can finish your career wearing that number, but after that it's done. Um, but the Dodgers, okay, the Dodgers, the team that Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier with, it came under a little bit of fire yesterday, Miguel. They came under a little bit of fire.
A little. I have the video if you want
Yeah, I see. I'm gonna put it up there. So let me kind of explain what it is. So people the throwing out of the first pitch in baseball for people that may not know baseball, the throwing out of the first pitch is like a ceremonial thing. They do it during Major League Baseball games. Sometimes like your leagues, your local leagues, or your little leagues, or adult leagues. They'll have a ceremonial throw out of the first pitch. Maybe they'll have a dignitary do it or a hero, local hero, or something like that. But in major leagues, they'll do it like every night. So, um, last night on Jackie Robinson night, the the LA Dodgers, defending world champions, had Hello Kitty throw out the first pitch, and I'll just go to the video and let y'all see this. So there's the thing, right? The video of the first pitch, and as you see, Hello Kitty is dressed in a custom Dodgers uniform with the number 74 as opposed to the number 42. So the Yankees as an organization, excuse me, the Dodgers as an organization, it's coming under a little bit of scrutiny for this. A little tone deaf to the situation, and they say if any organization should know the significance of the night, it's the Dodgers. The Dodgers should know better than to have the mascot not wearing the number 42 on Jackie Robinson night. So I, I get it. It's a tone deaf thing. The Dodgers, should I it'd have been a whole hell of a lot better if they had the mascot wearing number 42. But I mean, have them wearing 74 on a night that's not Jackie Robinson night, it makes a whole lot of sense. And Coach Hunter said in 74 for the Dodgers was Kenley Jensen.
Their closer the last 3 or 4 years.
Interesting.
None of it makes sense. Like none of it. There's no explanation for it. There's no. I mean, it seems like Major League Sports is like they're just making decisions based on dollars and cents, I guess you can say, and they're just becoming like you said, tone deaf. Like Pittsburgh, the Pirates with those two incidences with the Roberto Clemente wall, and there was another incident where they had, how like you get those when the stadium is being built, you get to have those ceremonial bricks.
Mm-hmm.
Like you pay to have like your brick and a name as you walk into or whatever. So when they were remodeling a section of the stadium, they actually dug up those bricks, and somebody took a picture of them and said, "These are all the bricks from the PNC Park and they were at a dump yard or something like a junkyard. And they said allegedly that they were just being stored there until they figure out what they could do with it. But again, it's like optics. Those are treasures that people have actually paid for,
Right.
and we just dump it somewhere until you figure out how to make money off
Well, here's what I would say, and you said I'm kind of responding to the statement you said about it seems like they're making the decisions on based on dollars and cents. Completely agree with you there. Um, the game, the games that we grew up with, Miguel, they no longer exist.
it.
They no longer exist. Um, the nostalgia, it no longer exists. Um,
It's not even nostalgia, it's pride, like
well, it's so
honor, pride.
there's so much money in the game now because
Yeah, but
remember, let me remind you of something. A lot of times, the people that own these teams now, if they're people at all and not a business,
communist.
they may not have come up grown up with the tradition. Okay, and you understand what I'm saying? For whatever the team may be,
Like
they
Josh
may not
Harris.
have come up with that. The heritage of the culture of that team, and they're going to do what they want to do with that team. Did you say Josh Harris?
Yeah, because he owns the New Jersey Devils, like the
Right,
76ers and the
right.
Washington Commodores. Commodores.
There, no, there would be nobody. I'm just going to say this: that nobody that would grow up. I'm going to say a 4 for 4 person. I'm going to say Eagles, Flyers, Sixers, Phillies. Unless it's for business reasons, they're not going to own a team in Philly, a team in DC, and a team in Jersey, except for business reasons. Because if they could do a team, maybe they would do a team in like Minnesota and a team in Vegas or something like that. But being from this city and growing up here, rivals: New York, New Jersey, um, um, DC. Of course, you got Dallas too, but I'm just talking about regional
Right.
rivals. So Toronto too, somewhat, kind of Toronto for a couple different reasons. But now these teams, like I said, the games we know are no longer they're no longer there. So I don't know the Pittsburgh Pirates situation. I don't even want to look it up, but it could be a thing where there might be some new people making the decisions that they may not even have a clue of who Roberto Clemente is. They may have bought somebody into, but it needs to be their job to know that if you're talking about you want to have your game steeped in the tradition, your team steeped in the tradition. If you could care less about the tradition of your team, you're not going to keep the Roberto Clemente Memorial right field wall or whatever. Well, you're not going to keep that. You're not. Just my thoughts on it. Just my thoughts. Um, I want to move on to something a little more fun. Emmett Smith. Video has been making its rounds. The sound has been making its rounds. Miguel, I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce this one. If you haven't heard about this one, it's fun. Go ahead.
So if you want to post the image there with Emmett
I'm sorry.
Smith
Say it
and
again.
the can you post a picture of Emmett Smith and his crater chin or whatever? So you know, I've been getting comments about, oh, the Eagles keep talking about Cowboys, and we're in your heads and stuff like that. And then this numbnuts comes up and has to explain why he's so bitter. I think he's really bitter because he sucked at his job at ESPN. Anyway, here's his quote. He says, I'm sick of it. We have allowed others to nitpick at the star and make fun of the star. Now, all of a sudden, over the last 20 years, the Eagles win two Super Bowls and they think they're the best thing on the planet. And everywhere I go, I hear "Go Birds." I'm sick of hearing "Go Birds." And there was another full extended version where he talks about, they only want to, they got so much more to go before they even catch us. But at the end of the day, I mean, you're pretty much into a generation where people were born and lived for 30 years and they don't know anything about a winning Cowboys franchise. You know, if you're sick of it, tell your owner to sell the team or get a general manager or die, because those are the only ways that you're going to be even more competitive. But he's told everybody that I know what I'm doing and this is my team and I do what I want. So you can't complain about it. Just stay where you're at. Enjoy your 96 VHS of all of your Super Bowl championships. Quit bitching and get the Eagles name out your mouth.
Um, I just had a vision of Miguel walking on stage and slapping the hell out of Emmitt Smith because he said keep his Eagles name out your mouth. Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna say this to Emmitt Smith. You're sick of it. You're sick of hearing "Go Birds." That's funny, Emmett, because I'm sure you wasn't sick of hearing you ain't been sick of hearing how about them boys, we them boys for the last 30 years, even though the last 30 years ain't nothing happened with them boys. You sick of that? You sick of hearing "Go Birds," but I mean, listen, the Eagles just won the Super Bowl. What else are you supposed to hear? No other team can celebrate right now but the Eagles. Last year, no other team could celebrate but the Chiefs. Last couple years before that. That's what you're going to hear right now, Emmett. And unfortunately for you, your team was so great. Okay, I'm going to say it. They were a great team. They dominated 3 out of 4 years. That people still believe that your team is their team and that they are still that great. And they still talk to this day. Emmett Smith, Mr. Emmett Smith. Cowboys fans still talk to this day as if you guys are still playing for the team and dominating. I want you to understand that, Mr. Smith. We are sick of hearing the Cowboys fans just as much as you are sick of hearing everyone nitpick at the Cowboys and hearing "Go Birds." That's all I have to say about that.
Can I end with one final thing?
Can you end with what?
With one final thing?
Yes.
Can you play the last video in the sequence there, please?
Yep, sounds about right. Sounds about right. Um, Let me see. You're stumping me today.
No,
We got to, huh? No.
no, not stumping today.
Oh, okay. But we got a big dummy, right?
Yeah,
And we got a damn, right?
yes.
Before we get into that, um, I just want to go through a new segment where we're going to try with you guys. Okay, we're going to call it the quick pitch, and it's just a couple of quick news stories or quick stories about sports that's going on that we're not really going to get into it, but you absolutely can, and you are welcome to if you want to. You can always call us up 669-275-0548, or of course you can excuse me, text in to our text line at 484-606-6061. That's getting a lot easier to say every week. And and of course you could just leave your comments in the chat as well. So for first pitch in the quick pitch, I read that Hall of Famer, or I guess he's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame in the next induction. Hall of Famer Dwight Howard will be joining the Big Three. That's Ice Cube's 3-on-3 basketball league. So that's going to bring some interest, some more interest to the league. Seeing Dwight Howard play in that league, NBA Hall of Famer Dwight Howard playing in that league, or Basketball Hall of Famer, NBA fame. Um, Aaron Donald Stalker. Miguel, you want to tell us something a little about that?
Yeah, apparently he has a stalker named Janelle Anwar who's been terrorizing his family since 2020, even threatening the life of his own 3-year-old son. Um, so she actually has claimed that she is actually married to Aaron Donald, but he claims that she's in her 30s and she's crazy, and now she's demanding, not now she's controlling the situation by sending a divorce decree to him and demanding $1,500 a month and a quote unquote settlement of $6.5 million. So he's filed a restraining order with the Los Angeles County's office, District Attorney's office, and stay tuned for more on that.
Yes, quite the situation there. Jalen Hurts is named one of Time Magazine's 100 most influential people. Um, I can see that. I mean, I don't know how to not see that, but Jalen Hurts has like a way about him, the way he comes off in public. I don't know him personally, but it just he has an interesting way about him. Like you just want to have a conversation with him, almost like he's wise beyond his years, and we just and we're not seeing that from him. I think people like
Derek,
this use the term. He's been here before.
yeah, Derek Jeter actually wrote a verb about Hurts, and he says, "I admire how great athletes deal with both success and failure. What Jalen Hurts went through in being benched during the 2018 National Championship game would break a lot of people down, but not Jalen. He focused on what he could control and found a new path to success." And then he goes on to kind of talk about the defeat in the 2023 Super Bowl. How that would have many men would have lost motivation and lost the picture of um, what the key goals are, but he got himself together, and he's definitely deserving of the honor. So some nice
Yeah,
words from Derek Jeter.
definitely influential, and he's right now he's one of those people that you wouldn't mind your son looking up to, and playing the game like them and carrying themselves like he does. Um, because I know growing up, it's hard to you hope your kids look up to the right people, right? To the right type of people. Um, I just think about some of the people we had to look up to growing up. We had good people to look up to, and we had some wild people to look up to too. Like think about our teenage years. There was a man named Dennis Rodman who married himself or something like that, right? Didn't he marry himself?
I just remember wearing a wedding dress.
Yeah, yeah. Um, we had Charles Barkley, who I love Charles Barkley, but he told us he is not a role model, and people still looked up to him. We had Michael Jordan, very competitive person, made it look very easy, and really influenced the way we look at sports today. Somewhat of a good person to look up to, and then you hear about the gambling and the all the other stuff. And you're like, okay, he's kind of a good person to look up to, but certain things. Jalen Hurts seems like a very good person to look up to, and I'll leave it at that. AHL player gets suspended 10 games for abusing an official. Y'all want to see this?
So I put abusing an official in air quotes because I mean it is a hard hit, but abuse I don't know. The video kind of
It
tells
looked more
the
like a shove to me, but we'll let the people tell us. Here we go.
Dump it back in the other way. This one's deflected at center and gets knocked down. Was the
Somebody cussed. Like, come on, bro. Come on, man. Like, honestly, like he's lucky.
And the Islanders dump it back in the other way. This one's deflected at center and gets knocked down. Was the
I think when it's like that move right there, I really think like in his mind he was trying to get around another player because he saw it was a different uniform and whatnot. And then it just like, oh my God, wait a minute. It's not like that's the reaction that he has to it. And to his credit, he did check on him, make sure he was okay, yada yada. But I don't know. Sometimes the video doesn't tell the whole story, but
and the Islanders dump it back in the other way. This one's deflected at center and gets knocked down. Was the
yeah.
So what you said is a possibility. Okay, I do not want to.
I'm
I
going
do
by
not.
his explanation.
I don't.
This week I'm playing the devil's advocate. I'm let's see the other side.
I don't want to downplay what you said, but here's what I'll say. I think he knew it was the ref. I don't think he meant to make it look as bad as it did. I think he probably was. I may have told this story on the show before. One time when I was playing soccer, I was on the travel team for the area playing soccer, and a ball was going, and I was running after the ball. Kid was in front of me, and I'm running, and he's like a step and a half in front of me, and I kind of reach my arm out because I'm like kind of, you're timing yourself, trying to gauge yourself what you want to do, and he tumbles. He takes a tumble. Okay, now in my mind, I just laid my hand out on the kid because I'm trying to, like I said, time what I'm trying to do. But I got a yellow card for it because they said I pushed the kid. Now, in my mind, to this day, this kid flopped. In my mind, this was 30 years ago, probably even more than that. Okay, 35 years ago. In my mind, this kid flopped. Okay, I wish I knew this kid and he wouldn't remember the play, but I wish I knew this kid today because I would ask him, "Did you flop?" Because I want to know. But everybody says I pushed the kid, but I didn't. Okay, I didn't push the kid. I just put my hand out. He flopped. Everybody said I pushed the kid. Now, in this situation, he probably thought that he was just nudging him out the way and didn't realize he shoved this dude out the way and didn't realize until it was too late. Possibly, right? Possibly. I'm thinking mine makes more sense, makes not more sense, but is a little more plausible than yours because it's not like the referee just appeared out of nowhere. That referee was there and he was skating towards the referee. He may not have been looking at the referee, but the other team was wearing white and red. He had on white and black.
Maybe it was the white.
I'm just saying.
Maybe he's colorblind.
Maybe what?
Maybe he's colorblind.
Yeah, well, you probably shouldn't push the guy that doesn't have a stick in his hand.
True.
Just my thought. Real quick, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the NBA playoffs are starting. Right now, we're in the play-in round. Excuse me, the play-in round is going on right now, and last night you had the Golden State Warriors. If you can see that, I hope you can see that. The Golden State Warriors played the Memphis Grizzlies last night. Golden State Warriors won, and they have moved on into the playoffs. They will play the number 2 seed Houston Rockets. And now I think tonight the Mavs and the I think it's Mavs and the Kings play tonight, and whoever wins that game will end up playing the Memphis Grizzlies. And no, is that it? Yeah, the Memphis Grizzlies. And whoever wins that game will end up being the 8th seed in the West. Tonight you have the Bulls and the. I should have it all in front of me. Is it on this page? Because I don't see it. But tonight you have the Bulls and the Heat playing each other. And what's the other game? I completely forgot. I'm blanking on it. You got the Magic. No, not the Magic. I'm blanking on it. I thought it was on this page. Oh, you have the Chicago and Miami, Dallas, Sacramento tonight. And then you have what's today's date? 16th. Then you have you had Atlanta lose to Orlando last night. And like I said, Memphis lost to the Grizzlies. Memphis lost to the Warriors last night as well. So I say all that to say, I bring it all back. The next play-in the East will end up playing the Cavaliers, whoever wins the next play-in in the Western Conference end up playing the Oklahoma City Thunder. As we all know, the Sixers are not in it. They were not going to be in it, and they don't need to be in it. However, this Eastern Conference is interesting, but I don't think anybody is giving the Eastern Conference a chance in this NBA Finals. Somebody probably will get in the comments and say, I'm picking Cavaliers. Okay, that's fine. That's all well and good. But a lot of people are looking at the Thunder. They're looking at the Lakers. They're looking at the Clippers. And they're starting to look at the Warriors too as being able to come out on top. So Coach Hunter said the Bulls and the Heat are up by 20 right now. So the Bulls may end up getting eliminated. We don't know. But yeah, so keep an eye on the NBA playoffs. It's a great time of year. Playoff basketball is the type of basketball Miguel likes to watch. He's used to seeing that type of basketball throughout the season, but they don't play like that anymore. It gets a little more physical and aggressive in the playoffs. So, and I saw that face. I guess that means you're still not going to watch. But okay, to each his own. It's your prerogative. Real quick, contract dispute time, right? Contract dispute. I said we weren't going to talk about it, but Coach Hunter had mentioned something about it earlier. Coach Hunter says Celtics Clippers for the NBA championship. That will be interesting. That would be interesting to see Ben Simmons playing in the NBA Finals, just from a Sixers fan perspective. And if he won, could you imagine the vitriol that will be directed at Joel Embiid by you? Not even by you. By
me.
Yes.
I mean, he's sitting home recovering from surgery, from wear and tear, doing things he's not used to.
Yes, by you. By you. But that would be interesting to see. I personally would like to see. I wouldn't mind seeing a Lakers Clippers. A Lakers Celtics NBA Finals. Just because. Lakers Celtics. That's always nostalgic. But I don't really believe in anybody else in the East. To be honest with you, I don't believe in anybody else in the East right now. So. The Cavaliers are the number 1 seed, and they've been one of the best teams all season long, and I still don't really I guess I got to see it. You know what I mean? Got to see it. What do you want me to go to now? You got a few things up here because we're getting ready to we're winding down.
So go to the big dummy video. Do you see the title at the bottom? It says big
Yes.
dummy.
Okay. There we
Yeah.
go.
So,
Okay.
so this is at the White House where the the caption says it all. Go for it. It's a championship trophy ceremony at the White House.
Okay.
Ohio State.
Gotcha. Here we go. Wait, was that JD Vance?
Yep. Holding the trophy proudly.
Big dummy. Big dummy. Big dummy.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't something he did though, right? He just picked it up and it broke, right? Did it break or is it two pieces?
Well, it's two pieces now. But I think it looked like he was actually trying to pick it up from the base, and then another person was coming in at the same time, so they kind of lifted in opposite directions. It was kind of like a collision, minor collision, and the base falls to the floor, so it looks like Vance knocked it over while the other person's holding the actual top part of it. So it's debatable. I'm sure somebody can break down the tape with the replay, see whose fault it actually is. But
When was that? I didn't even hear about them visiting the White House.
sometime within the last week or two.
Wow. Okay. I didn't hear anything about it. Didn't I heard about he was playing golf somewhere. I didn't even know. Shows what I know. All right. So now are we just going to jump into the damn video?
Let's go into the dam. I this is in honor of you, because I know how you love to see kids get hurt.
Oh no.
Just it's quick, but at least there's a running start. I'll put it that way.
Oh, I didn't catch it. Hold on. Ooh, hey. I want to see that again. I want to see it again.
You want to see it one more time?
I know. I want to see it one more time. I want to see it one more time. Okay, so I have questions. I know when you're in the heat of the moment, like it's always easier to say when you're watching it on video. It's always easier when you're in the moment. But in that type of combat, I know that they teach you to spin out. And he's a little kid, so but why didn't he think to just spin out? He's running at you. I'm spinning out. Like you're planning something. You might be Superman punching me, jump kicking me. Maybe you're setting me up to for the spin out. You want to hit me with a hook or a roundhouse kick. I don't know, but I'm spinning. I'm not standing there waiting for you to make to do whatever you plan on doing.
Yeah,
Now you're running full speed ahead. I'm not waiting for you to. I'm not waiting.
But he may have been panicked. He may have been trained. All right, you're going to meet in the middle. You're going to tap gloves, and then you're going to. He probably said it to you.
Very good point. Very good point. Very good point. Very good point. I'll leave it alone because that is a kid, and I don't want to. But I bet you won't happen to him again.
Absolutely not.
It ain't gonna happen again
because he's not fighting anymore. That's why.
Mom took him out of that sport. Did you want me to put this thing in? I can't.
It was just I had it kind of lingering in there. It was just something for Cowboys fans in case they want, motivation.
Oh Lord!
There comes with
hot
the
dog and ultra beer. That's funny.
And the high heels.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the other response to
Emmitt Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one cares, Emmitt. Let's just put it like that. I mean, obviously a lot of people care because they putting it out there. It's making its rounds, but no one cares.
You just sound like a whiny. You sound like a whiny housewife.
Yeah, that's what he sounds like. That's what he sounds like. So he sounds like, I just want to hear the Cowboys fans. I don't want to hear anybody. That's what I'm taking from it.
Yeah.
I don't care what he meant by it. That's what I'm taking from it.
Somebody should check to see if he's on this period.
We're going to get out of there on that. Nope. We have nothing left, right?
No.
No, we took care of it all. All right, look. We're going to get up out of here. We appreciate y'all hanging with us here on the Check Swing Podcast with myself and, of course, the brains and brawn of the situation, Coach Santa. We going and we want to thank everybody for vibing with us today. We'll check y'all next week here on Tuesday. Next Tuesday, probably. Probably next Tuesday. I think so. I think next Tuesday. Well, I'll figure it out. We'll talk to y'all. Enjoy y'all weekend.